here today with Dr. Ibrahim Jaffe, who will be coming to the Twin Cities March 8th through the 10th for a workshop entitled The Four Doors, Finding Real Meaning and Fulfillment in Your Life. During this weekend, Ibrahim will reveal Sufi spiritual teachings to help open four areas of our lives. Ibrahim, one of the doors you speak of is divine spiritual healing. Can you talk a little bit about what distinguishes Sufi healing compared to some of the other healing modalities we may be familiar with, both conventional and alternative?
Yes, thanks, Pat. Sufi spiritual healing is a remarkable teaching that has been handed down from the prophets who you have read about in the Bible and the Torah and the Quran, prophets such as Abraham and Moses and Noah and Muhammad and people like this. And these prophets, what they did is they were able to connect to God, and then in the connection, this incredible connection to God, they received particular information that was valuable in healing. Well, in Sufi spiritual healing, we're accessing that same information. We're using that information that has been kept hidden over the centuries, but has now been opened up. And then we're using that in a very profound way, which is to get to the roots of disease, the root causative issues in disease, and then to be able to transform those roots through these healing lights that come from God directly. So this is a difference in that this is a true healing from God, first of all. It's a way that is carrying the light of the prophets and the light of the One together, and it is directed towards those inner places within someone where there's illness. For example, somebody recently I worked with had pulmonary fibrosis. And pulmonary fibrosis means that the lungs become scarred up and they can't breathe anymore. And the prognosis is very poor with that. However, from a Sufi spiritual healing, when I looked at the situation, it was exact opposite. The prognosis from my perspective was very good because the causative factors weren't that deep and they weren't deeply rooted inside this man's lungs. So we did a session where he got to the root of his fibrosis. What was causing that scarring up, that tightening? Well, the issues were with his mom and not getting the love that he needed from his mom, not feeling he could breathe, that he always had to do what he was told, that he couldn't be free to breathe the air in his own way. Well, when he understood that and he began to integrate and heal the places of fear, instantaneously, his lungs began to open. At the end of the session, he said, "You can't believe this." He said, "I can almost breathe normally now." And this was after just 1 hour. So we understand that when you find the causative factors of disease, such as the case with the mom, when you use prayer and you use the divine names, divine qualities, and you're able to essentially call to God to have those names and qualities come in, and God grants healing in a particular way through them, this is when you'll start to see remarkable, remarkable miracles. Because we know that God can heal anything. We've seen this many, many times about miracles, that if God chooses to change anything, it can change in one moment. But more often than not, what God wants is for us to understand our process. And once we understand what's causing our problems, and then we apply these methods, this is where it may not be momentary healing, but over a period sometimes of hours or days or weeks, the disease slowly disappears and it just fades away as if it's never there. And this is the beauty of Sufi spiritual healing.
So, Ibrahim, during this weekend, will you be guiding us through some of these healing techniques as well as showing us how we can apply them in our lives?
Absolutely. I'll show you how to use the techniques. I'll introduce you to the foundations of the methods, and I'll give you some practical application that you can use immediately on your personal healing or your spiritual transformation. And it doesn't only have to be physical healing. It can be emotional, it can be psychological, or it can be spiritual. It works across all borders.
Well, that sounds pretty exciting, and I really look forward to going further into that with you when you're here in the Twin Cities, March 8th through the 10th at the Richardson Nature Center in Bloomington. And Ibrahim, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Pat, and I look forward to seeing all of you when I get out there.